Hello there, it's Halo with the Armageddon Report. I did actually make good on what I said I was going to do, and I put a map on tornadocoverage.com. So the maps that were at the top, which is the outlook for the day and the current thunderstorm and or tornado watches, those are now at the bottom. But there's now actually a live map, so I can even show you this. So this, because it's an active tornado warning, is in red, and this, because it's expired, is in gray. So any of these that are expired are gray boxes, but the live tornado warnings are red. And to give you a little bit of background on why I wanted to build this site anyway, is I'm experimenting with a different data source of warnings. Because if you go to WickedWix right now, you'll notice there's a huge number of severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings, can't think of the word, but there's no tornado warnings, no red things. It doesn't know anything, whoops, about what's going on in Nebraska right now, because I've noticed that oftentimes the data source where WickedWix currently gets its information is sometimes it's perfect and sometimes it's like an hour out of date. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to build this in the first place, was to experiment with that different data source to see how reliable it is. So anyway, moving on, we'll talk about severe thunderstorm stuff shortly, but first we'll talk about hurricanes and typhoons and cyclones and stuff. Can't think of that word either. So we've got Fabio is no longer going to be warned on, and then it's now post-tropical, however still generating potentially dangerous surf and rip current conditions along the coast of Baja California and Southern California. And then back here, I think this actually got downgraded, not sure whether it's still 10. So anyway, this is pretty low, this area out here, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. And if we go to the west, then this stuff appears. So here we have tropical storm jackfruit still predicted to make landfall, or maybe making landfall as we speak, in South Korea. Khanun is the Thai word for jackfruit, that's why I keep calling it that. And then we actually have this down here with a medium chance of tropical cyclone formation in the next 24 hours. So we might be seeing a new named storm, I don't know. I even have to see if there's spaghetti model data for that yet. In everything's on fire type news, so we've got either you're in a severe thunderstorm watch today or you're in a heat advisory and excessive heat warnings. Quite a large area of the country afflicted, can't think of the word, by one or the other. And here's the slight risk area for today. So quite a few states affected by that, as high as 30% chance of winds, and then 50% chance of hail, and 5% chance of a tornado. And then here's your wind map. So here's the 30% chance along the coast. And then we've got the hail map. Oh, by the way, wind map would be 58 miles per hour greater is what a severe wind. This would be 1 inch larger hail. So hail not as big of a threat. And then the tornado chance today is, what is that? Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, I think maybe a bit of New York, and maybe even a bit of New Jersey is actually in the 5% area today. And then a 2% back here. Tomorrow, we've got a slight risk of sort of the same area of states, and hopefully that would, maybe keep some heat advisories out, but I don't know how that works. So here's your actual probability map. So there's your slight risk, and then the 5% around it, 5% up here, and then 5% in the Pacific Northwest. And then day 3, Pacific Northwest gets the slight risk, so let's look at this. And then there's a 5% over there and a 5% over there. So, yes, and days 4 through 8. What's going with that? Potential too low. Right, so that means there's probably not anything going on, but you could go read that if you actually understand it. I don't. So that means that theoretically, at least as of now, there are no severe thunderstorms predicted for days 4 through 8. Right, severeweathertv.com is the official homepage of this screencast, where you can click on this to see the old ones, or a lot of my favorite weather type links, and then even earthquake links, which I'm not currently covering or whatever, are in there. And then, of course, WickedWix is, you should go there for the outlook. But once it gets down to warning information, since I'm discovering warnings out to date, you should be paying attention to local radar and local sources or something. And the cycloneking.com. We'll find out if we have another funnily named, typhoon or tropical storm and or tropical depression in the Northwest Pacific soon, but probably not out of the yellow blob in here. Of course, this thing can turn into nothing as well. Who knows? Anyway, so that's what's going on today. Hope you enjoy your day.